I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Disney is facing backlash from every corner, and this time it's bigger than ever. Snow White, yes, the Snow White, has been pulled from shelves by independent stores across the nation. Can you believe it? The iconic tale is being erased from the scene. And it's not just a little bit of controversy, it's a full-blown firestorm. The tension is thick, and everyone is watching to see how this all plays out.
Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
I wanted my money back. It was very disappointing.
Nobody
Who
wants
wants
that.
a movie about true love? What kind of woman do we want out there seeking true love, Eliana? The outrage.
Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
They are pretending like Rachel Zegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
The new Disney boss babe, who is Rachel Zegler, the inverse of happy.
So she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantata is the only global solution.
The drama has taken over social media, with fans of the classic story calling it a betrayal. Snow White is a legend, a cornerstone of Disney's empire. Yet now, it's being treated like it's something to be ashamed of. Is this the end of a beloved fairy tale? Or has Disney simply pushed too far? People are furious, and who can blame them? The magic that Disney once built its empire on is now being torn apart piece by piece. And at the center of all this chaos, none other than Rachel Zegler. She went from a rising star to the face of Disney's downfall in record time. It's shocking, to say the least. Instead of soaring to the top of Hollywood, she's now the focal point of an online storm. Her comments have sparked outrage, and now everyone is talking about it. Disney thought they were being innovative by giving Snow White a modern twist. But in reality, they just set the classic tale on fire and danced on its ashes. What happened to the dwarfs? The charm? The happily ever after? Gone. Now, it's all about chaos. And guess who's caught right in the middle of it all? Rachel Zegler. Once thought to be the future of Disney, she's now being blamed for everything that's gone wrong with the remake. People are furious, and Rachel's responses aren't helping. Fans are calling her out, saying she's been acting like Disney was built just for her to play dress-up, say a few lines, and cash in. It's getting ugly. One fan even joked that Rachel treats Disney like her personal fashion sponsor. She just shows up, wears a gown, and dips. Ouch. But wait, Zegler isn't backing down. In fact, she's fired back at the backlash in a way that no one expected.
I win. The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see. I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
She's been acting like she's above it all, saying things that have only added fuel to the fire. She even said, "Every one of the 18 hours I am in this Snow White dress, I expect to get paid." Wow. Talk about digging yourself deeper. Did she really just say that? It's not going over well with fans who are absolutely livid. People can't believe she would be so unapologetically blunt about it. And it's only getting worse for Zegler. Her critics are coming out in full force, and her social media is turning into a battlefield. It's like she's deliberately poking the bear. The pressure is on, and Zegler doesn't seem to care. Fans are slamming her from every angle. One furious commenter even clapped back, "If you hate the role so much, why take it?" You can imagine how fast that comment went viral. People are starting to wonder what is going on with Disney. Meanwhile, the situation around the Snow White remake is getting messier by the second. The movie is quickly turning into a full-fledged PR disaster. Disney's attempt to reimagine the fairy tale has crashed and burned in the most epic way possible. Test audiences didn't even know what to call it. Some said it felt like a TikTok compilation with a plot. That's brutal. Disney didn't just drop the ball, they kicked it straight into a black hole. Instead of updating the story and keeping the magic alive, they completely stripped it of its soul. People are not just upset, they're outraged. The remake has become a laughingstock in Hollywood, and it's clear that Disney seriously misjudged what their audience wanted. Fans and critics alike have been relentless in their reviews, and it's not pretty. You'd think Disney would have learned by now that messing with a classic is a huge gamble. But no, they decided to go full throttle with this disastrous remake, thinking their brand name alone would carry the weight. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Fans are tearing it apart, and the film is quickly becoming one of the biggest flops in Disney's history. The movie's opening numbers, embarrassing. We're talking about a 70% drop in box office sales during its second weekend. That's a freefall that no one saw coming, and it's devastating. And then came the reviews, the crushing reviews. Imagine this. Snow White's IMDb rating drops to an unbelievable 1.6 out of 10. Yes, you read that right, 1.6. This isn't just a few bad reviews, it's an internet-wide roast session.
Now, I'm guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of like, I don't know, vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing, before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
So apparently, according to them and according to the writers of Snow White, women can't even want to be in love anymore.
Fans flooded social media with their thoughts, calling the movie a disaster and a complete waste of time. Many described it as a strange fever dream, something that felt like a half-baked student film rather than a $250 million Disney spectacle. Critics are laying into it from every angle, pointing out everything from the bizarre direction to the awkward acting. It's a complete wreck. And let's talk about the plot for a second. Or should I say, the lack of a plot. The movie has been called a chaotic mess. One viewer even said it felt like an over-caffeinated intern had pieced together scenes from 3 different movies and called it a day. One moment, Snow White is belting out a pop anthem, like she's auditioning for The Voice, and the next, she's trapped in a dystopian landscape that looks like something out of a rejected sci-fi script. The film's identity crisis is so obvious, it's almost laughable. What happened to the charming prince? Oh, that's right, he's gone. Completely vanished. Instead of a fairy tale romance, we get a forced empowerment subplot that feels as artificial as a late-night infomercial. People can't understand why Disney would completely disregard the original story in favor of this bizarre and tone-deaf reimagining. It's so out of touch, it's almost painful to watch. The memes are flooding in, and they're hilarious, yet painful to witness. Fans have been mocking the woke dwarfs for not even appearing in the film, joking that the entire movie feels like a school play thrown together in detention. The visuals, they've been compared to Netflix horror filter vibes. It's that bad. The internet has absolutely gone wild over this catastrophe, and every new post adds fuel to the fire. Disney thought they could get away with it, turn a beloved classic into a modern-day propaganda piece. But the backlash is so intense, even they can't deny it anymore. People have started calling the remake Snow wrong, and honestly, it's hard to argue with that. The film's budget ballooned past $250 million, and that's before They even started the marketing nightmare. It's a disaster on all fronts. What's even worse? Disney went all in on this remake, despite warnings. They decided to replace the dwarfs with DEI-inspired magical creatures.
So she came out and took a large dump on half of the country, everyone who voted for Trump.
But you are not entitled to call for Trump supporters to be harmed. Like, you are actually not entitled to do that. And so let me just remind you, Rachel Zegler, of what the map looks like, just so you can understand when your Disney movie is coming out, how many people you are wishing harm upon. Like, this is America right now. I will love you through these 4 years as best I can. F Donald Trump. Yeah, totally stable thing for her to be posting, wishing harm upon Trump voters, wishing that we have no peace.
President Rachel Zegler also posted, F Trump kinds of posts on social media. She also said that she hoped that Trump supporters, quote, never know peace.
Ignoring the requests of little people actors who were more than ready to play the iconic roles. The backlash was immediate, and it was loud. These actors felt betrayed by Disney's decision, and they weren't afraid to voice their frustration. One even posted a video saying, "There are so few roles for us in Hollywood, and Disney just passed us over for some made-up characters." And now, in the middle of all this chaos, the face of the film, Rachel Zegler, is getting even more heat. Her actions and words have caused a firestorm of controversy. First, she called the original Snow White story outdated and criticized the classic prince for having stalker vibes. Really, fans were shocked, and many took to social media to express their frustration. Rachel, instead of backing down, doubled down on her comments, making it clear she didn't care about the original story. And as if that wasn't enough, she went on to say that she should be paid for every hour she spends wearing the Snow White dress. Fans were not happy about that at all. One comment read, "If you hate the role so much, why take it?" Ouch! The backlash has been swift, and it's only growing stronger by the day. At this point, it's clear that Rachel's PR strategy isn't working. She's becoming more and more of a public relations disaster. Her social media posts are a battlefield, with fans and critics alike calling her arrogant and out of touch. And instead of backing down, she continues to fire back, calling her critics stuck in the past and outdated. The internet is absolutely roasting her, and not in the good way. What started as a movie with big potential has turned into a complete disaster for Disney, and it's spiraling out of control. The film's box office numbers are dismal, the PR is a mess, and the internet is having a field day with all of it. The memes are relentless, and the reviews are brutal. The movie has been called everything from an expensive mistake to a failed experiment. Disney's golden child, the one brand they thought could do no wrong, has officially slipped from its throne. And it's only getting worse. Disney's Snow White remake isn't just a flop. It's a disaster of epic proportions. As the film continues to plummet at the box office, Disney executives are scrambling to save face. But the damage has already been done, and it's not just a bad opening weekend anymore. The fallout is far-reaching, and Disney's once impenetrable reputation is now teetering on the edge. Investors are fuming, and the pressure is mounting. It's becoming clear that the company misjudged not only the fans, but the entire approach to this film.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
As the box office numbers continue to dive, insiders say Disney is in full-blown crisis mode. There are rumors swirling that the studio is quietly considering last-minute edits to salvage whatever they can of the film. But will these desperate moves be enough? Can they truly undo the mess they've created with a few cuts and rewrites? It doesn't look like it. The backlash has reached a level so extreme that even the most loyal Disney fans are turning their backs on the remake. At the center of the controversy is Rachel Zegler. Her handling of the entire situation has only made things worse. As if calling the original Snow White story outdated wasn't enough, she has now positioned herself as the face of the backlash. And the more she defends her controversial comments, the more fans are turning against her. This entire disaster has quickly become her disaster too. She's even retweeting praise from a few loyal fans, but it's becoming painfully clear that she's lost the trust of a huge portion of the audience. What's even more shocking is how Disney continues to double down on their disastrous choices. Instead of taking a step back and re-evaluating, they've chosen to pour even more resources into damage control. PR campaigns, interviews, and more media blitzes have been launched to try and reverse the narrative. But every attempt to fix it seems to make things worse. At this point, it feels like the studio is caught in a never-ending cycle of denial and desperation. In fact, sources have revealed that Disney is now facing a full-blown internal meltdown. Employees are whispering about how toxic the Snow White project has become, and many are questioning the direction the company is headed in. The once stellar brand is now associated with controversy, and the magic Disney once promised feels like a distant memory. The movie's production was already bloated with a $250 million budget, but now that marketing and distribution costs are factored in, the total loss could be massive. It's enough to make any executive shudder. Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, is said to be personally involved in trying to quell the storm, but it may already be too late. And then there's the merchandise. Disney was hoping to cash in on the Snow White brand with dolls, toys, and other memorabilia, but instead, it's all becoming toxic inventory. Stores across the country are pulling everything Snow White off the shelves, and many are worried that the merchandise might not even be able to sell at a discount. That's how bad the reputation has become. No one wants to touch anything related to this remake, and the products are collecting dust. The more you dig into this mess, the worse it gets. Disney's pride, their golden child, is crumbling. What was supposed to be a triumphant new chapter for Snow White has turned into a public relations nightmare.
I win. The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Fans, critics, and even insiders are all saying the same thing. Disney has lost the magic. Their latest attempt at reimagining a classic has failed on every level, and the company has no idea how to fix it. The internet is loving every second of this chaos. Memes are flooding in from all directions, tearing apart the film, the cast, and the company. People are mocking everything from the story's incoherence to the absurdity of the final scenes. The once revered Disney brand has now become the punchline of every joke, and the critics are not holding back. In the face of all this, Rachel Zegler's position only grows more precarious. Fans are roasting her for everything from her comments about the prince to her attitude about the role. Her "I deserve to be paid for every hour I'm in this Snow White dress" comment has sealed her fate with many fans, who are now questioning her commitment to the film and to the legacy of Snow White itself. Was this a role she truly cared about, or was it just another stepping stone for her career? The internet is asking, and the answers aren't pretty. It's become a lesson in how not to handle a legacy title. Disney had a chance to reimagine something iconic, but instead, They alienated their fan base and squandered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The remake was supposed to be a nostalgic ride through a new vision of Snow White, but instead, it's turned into a cautionary tale of corporate hubris and poor decision-making. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. Disney's golden age is officially over. What was once a beloved empire is now struggling to keep its head above water. The Snow White remake might go down as one of Hollywood's biggest failures. The backlash has been swift, brutal, and unforgiving, and it's clear that Disney didn't see it coming. What's next for Disney? Will they learn from their mistakes, or will they continue down this destructive path? The entertainment world is watching closely, and we all know that whatever happens next will be a game changer. For now, though, it's hard to imagine how Disney can ever recover from this catastrophic misstep. The magic is gone, and all that's left is a pile of ashes from a once untouchable brand.